Well, hello YouTube, it's me, Fortmaster, and welcome back to another Bizabizow reaction, and the next part in her series of, plushie redesigns, fixing some more Funko Fnaf plushies for Fnaf 4. So, like with Fnaf 2, there's actually 2 videos for fixing Fnaf 4 plushies, so I will be watching both of them and putting them both in, to the one video. But yeah, again, I'm honestly so happy that, this has been, a series that people have been actually enjoying watching. It has consistently been getting, over 2,000 views per video, which is honestly, an absolute record for me. Which I'm super happy that there are people enjoying these videos and willing to actually watch them. But yeah, so a couple of things. One, I was told, and I kind of discovered, that there's apparently somebody on YouTube that's been actually, making, the plushie designs that Biz has been making, actual physical plushies. Now, I can't remember the name of the channel off the top of my head. It was, it was talked about in the comments section on previous videos. But honestly, depending on how well this series does, I also might start reacting to those videos as well, just seeing the process of actually making a physical plushie. But I'm going to wait until I've at least finished, the plushie videos that Biz has actually put out. Because honestly, it's the whole thing of where, I have, keeping too many plates spinning at the same time. I have so many series and stuff that I want to keep up with, and they're all, coming out at once, seemingly. So I at least want to get one finished for the time being before I move on to something else. But yeah, I should probably get this thing started. So yeah, of course, as always, original videos, in this case, will be linked in the description if you haven't seen them for some reason. Corner video will lead to my Let's Play of the day, and if you like this video or any other video that I make, I'd very much appreciate it if you gave the video a like and subscribe to my channel, because almost 3/4 of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed, and I'd very much like that to change. Because, for the longest time this year, I've been hoping to hit 6,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and I've hit it thanks to you guys. At this point, I just want to see how close I can get to 7,000 before the end of the year, so let's keep this train rolling. So yeah, with all that out of the way, let's get this thing started then, shall we?
Hey, it's that time again. If you've been keeping track on your worm abacus, you know that we're on game number 4 of our Fnaf plushie journey, which not only means we have to look at a whole lot of teeth now, but we also got a pretty hefty chunk of new characters thrown on our plate. 15 in total between base Fnaf 4 and its Halloween update.
15. Honestly, I hadn't thought of the Halloween update. I honestly hadn't. Okay, but honestly, with that being said, I now very much do understand why this was split up into 2 videos. Because off the top of my head, when I first saw this, oh wait, there aren't that many characters. It was going to be Nightmare Freddy, Foxy, Chica, Bonnie, and then Nightmare Fredbear and Nightmare. So that's 6. Yeah, honestly, I don't know what I was thinking.
As to not take another millennium getting this video out though, I decided to split Fnaf 4 in half like I did with 2, so the number of Freddy Fabos that we'll be covering today is just 7.
Yay!
I'm not going to give you the whole spiel about what this series is for the 5th time though, so go watch the others and get caught up if you don't know what's going on. But if you don't want to, I guess then, don't. Before we jump right in though, as always, just a few quick things. Regarding the last part, I'm excited to say that, hey, I actually don't have any mistakes to address this time around. I know, right? It's a goddamn miracle when this girl does something correctly. But Ty, you did make a mistake last time. You forgot about Phantom Golden Freddy. I had a good amount of people telling me this in the comments last time, and I assume what y'all are referring to is this nameless greenish Freddy thing that has a rare chance of spawning at the edge of your office in FNAF 3, only officially referred to as a crumpled Freddy suit in the Freddy Files book. However, given its purple tone when brightened, I think it's pretty safe to say that this is literally just Shadow Freddy made to look kinda green by the lighting of the office.
Okay, honestly, I've never seen that before, and yeah, okay.
And he has already been covered.
Yeah!
Not a mistake, but I do appreciate you guys all trying to pitch in anyway. And hey, speaking of you guys pitching in, I just want to take a quick moment to show off some of the rad shit you all have made in reaction to this series, because it's really cool. Some of you have taken some of my designs and modeled them, which is really
nice.
rad. Like these ones that...
Okay, wait, I was focused more on the puppet one at first. But, I'm sorry. The withered Freddy being so bug-eyed. Oh, that's so stupid. I love it. Oh, that's adorable. I love him.
These ones that look strangely real at a glance and actually fooled a lot of people into thinking they were photos of real plushies. Some people tried their own hand at fixing some plushies of other characters or making entirely new ones in my style, which is also really fun to see.
Aww.
Someone used my Shadow Bonnie design in a Friday Night Funkin' mod of all things. I didn't expect that one.
Okay.
Guys, I just got freaking jump scared by Bizabizow.
And some people have actually taken on the monumental task of making these plush creatures into real things.
Oh.
Yeah, there's been quite a few people who took a crack at making these silly guys. They're all seriously amazing.
Aww.
If you want to actually watch the process of someone doing this too, I seriously recommend you check out these 2 videos created by May Rose OS, where she actually documents the whole process of turning my Mangle and Withered Bonnie into real plushes, which both turned out adorable, by the way. And
Okay,
also discusses each of my designs individually based on her own insight as someone with actual plush sewing experience. This was really cool to watch.
Nice.
This kind of insight is like the main thing in the series that I'm unable to provide myself. I love seeing this stuff, so I just wanted you all to see them too. Thank you for making cool shit, everyone.
Nice.
Anyway, time to take a little trip down to Teethtopia. So, the Nightmare Animatronics. A name that does not describe how scary these guys are, but does pretty accurately portray how I've imagined designing these plushies would be since this series' initial conception. Yeah.
God, honestly, you know, out of all of like the designs of like various Fnaf animatronics, I don't think the nightmare. I think it's the nightmares that have spawned like the most number of like awful, actually like awful to look at designs for like fan creations. And honestly, like I'm saying that, you know, oh, they're fan creations. They're purely like works of like passion and stuff like that. But I have seen, like, over the years, like, you know, through, like, various fan games and stuff like that, I have seen so many different versions of, like, you know, of fan animatronics, like, fan designs, where they make them nightmare, and they're, like, so overboard. Like, the one that comes to mind is, like, a nightmare baby design. Like, I'm forgetting what fan game it's from, but, like, it honestly, like, it takes the look and the general raggediness of the Nightmare animatronics and just cranks it up to 11 to like an unpleasant degree. Now again, you know, fan project, you know, so it's like I'm on, you know, harping on about somebody's, you know, work of passion and stuff like that, but still, like it like out of everything, like the nightmares were definitely something different.
Yeah, so I'm not really a fan of these designs, at least not as much as I enjoy the others in the series. I'm not really breaking any new ground with this take. It's an opinion that's held by a pretty good chunk of the fandom, I'd say. You know, the whole thing about how adding a ton of teeth and gashes to a monster design isn't the effective horror shortcut that edgy middle schoolers think it is. It's okay, edgy middle schoolers. I get you.
Yeah.
I've been there. Despite holding that opinion myself as well, though, I don't outright
I mean, I was
hate
never
these
an edgy
characters.
middle schooler,
They do
so
still hold a special place in my heart, as I have a lot of enjoyment and nostalgia for FNAF 4. They can kind of look cool in some renders too, I gotta admit. This does not change the fact, however, that these are going to be a bitch to stylize into cute plushies. Like, if you thought the Wizards and the Phantoms were difficult with their higher detail density, just look at these things.
Yeah, you're basically going to have to combine these two and then multiply it by like 20.
So, how am I going to go about this? Well, drinking was my first idea. It became apparent very quickly to me while working on this that making these guys cute in a more conventional sense would unfortunately require the accuracy and, well, recognizability to take a massive blow. Almost all of the important aspects of their respective designs that make them unique are the exact same aspects that make them spooky. So removing too many of these would result in something that doesn't resemble the nightmares very well, and at that point, why are you looking for a plush of these guys? Just buy any of the other counterparts of these characters that already exist.
I mean, granted, thinking about that, like, God, I off the top of my head, I honestly can't remember, what do the nightmares look like in FNAF World? Because, like, FNAF World does a pretty good job of making all of them, like, all of the characters look cute, no matter what their, like, source was. Actually, give me a second. Let me refresh my memory. I mean, I mean, definitely a lot of simplification there, and you're also like, a big thing of it is also the eyes, giving them actual eyes instead of like the robotic things they actually have. Yeah, okay.
So I decided I would have to aim for a different type of cute for these Nightmare plushies that, while a little less conventional, will hopefully still be present for those who enjoy these characters. This specific type of cute that I'm talking about is more of a, well, you know when certain dogs, usually small lap dogs, snarl and bare their teeth, but instead of looking scary or vicious like they probably do in their head, they just end up looking really goofy and circle back to being cute again? That's the kind of vibe I'm going for here.
Okay, how's this going to work? Are you going to chibi-fy them even more than the regular plushies already do? Like, give them all, like, some super massive heads and tiny bodies?
We're going to continue to utilize the good old stitching method started with the Wizards, but now kicked up another small notch to hammer in the fact that these are the most damaged and decrepit we've seen these mascots so far. So, let's put all of this into action with our first animatronic, why don't we?
Okay, let's see where this goes.
I lost 3 of my babies!
Tragic. I've got triplets myself. I don't know what I'd do if I lost them. Good thing I'm a responsible parent. You should try it sometime.
Oh god, Xavier.
As this is one of the animatronics from 4 that did receive a Funko Plush release, I think talking about how awful of a job they did would be a great place to start. Yeah, we're getting into the real rancid shit now. Their Nightmare attempts aren't nearly as bad as the twisted animatronic ones they made later on. Thankfully, I'll never have to talk about those in detail, but
You say that. Yeah, I have seen, one of the later videos is you making, movie plushes and stuff like that. So I guarantee you're going to make book plushes eventually, because these videos do numbers.
But these are definitely a rung below those on the ladder of bad. As you can see, this Freddy has the exact same base as Fnaf 1's, bright colors and all, now with the lamest attempt at nightmarification I've ever seen.
Yeah, they tore open his belly, gave him sharp teeth, and just changed the color of his pupils and gave him silver eyelids. Like, they didn't even change the color of, like, not cornea, what's the sclera? What's the white part of the eye called?
If you recognize this duct tape looking grin, that's because we've seen this method used before on Funko's Mangle plush. It arguably makes more sense for the Nightmares than it does for Mangle, to be fair, but still is a horrible way to portray their sharp, toothy mouths. We still have that blotchy withering effect here again, which still looks really cluttered and unappealing. Especially how he has these 2 giant black shapes on his snout, but none anywhere else on his face. Just makes him look like he got into the nail polish cabinet again. The eyes are the worst looking aspect to me here, though, with the metallic eyelids and solid red pupils, neither of which can be found on the in-game design. Wow, I love just making shit up for fun.
He doesn't even have
this
eyelids!
is going to be the absolute worst one I've covered so far. It doesn't get any worse than this. I mean, it does get close. The design I ended up with has almost no resemblance to Funko's at all, so prepare yourself for a small bit of whiplash here.
Okay.
Okay, so as usual, I tried to capture the big landmarks of each character.
Honestly, that is so good. That is so good. That is beautiful. It is so much better. Oh god, I even noticed, like, you have the little stitch marks on the hands to symbolize the claws. Oh, that is adorable!
Shaped the best I could in a simplified and stylized manner, and for Nightmare Freddy, this mostly came down to his jaw. His head...
Honestly, yeah, again, it's like the body's basically the same as everything before, just, it's mostly head shape.
Head isn't actually that far off from OG Freddy here. The main difference is that the lower jaw is... well, open now, of course, but also a lot larger and with a super distinct cleft in it. I tackled the sharp teeth in essentially the same way as Withered Foxy to give him a sharp, toothy grin, but in a much softer and goofy way. His nose is also the same type as the 2 Foxies, with the nostrils instead of the plain smooth surface. All of the Nightmare's eyeballs will be this gray shade instead of the usual pure white like they are in-game, with the pupils being each of their respective eye colors, just with these stark white centers and shines like they have on the models. Yeah. Also, the eye rings surrounding them are now the full black instead of just a darker shade of their base color, because if anyone is going to have that detail, it's these guys. His colors
They
are
have a lot
obviously
of
a good
detail.
amount darker than OG Freddy. That's arguably one of the most important parts of this design, so it's still insane to me that Funko's version neglected the fuck out of that one. And the other super important part, the wither stitching. I decided
There's
to
a
keep the
lot
amount
of
of
it.
stitches for the nightmares about the same as Springtrap's, but with most of them being a bit longer to really hammer in how torn apart they are compared to any other animatronic. I sectioned off a piece of dark fabric with a stitch on his chest just to mirror that big endoskeleton revealing hole Nightmare Freddy has right there.
Oh, okay. Honestly, I didn't even notice that. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Again, I've talked about it in literally every single one of these videos, but she does such a good job. Like, again, like I used to love drawing, but for me, it was mostly like drawing machines and like trains, obviously. When it came to my creativity, I could not come up with something like this. Like, apart from, like, if it was a pirate wearing a long overcoat or something like that, because, like, there was a while there I was really into pirates after watching Treasure Planet. Pirates and cyborgs, yeah. But, yeah, God, I don't think I would have ever come up with something like this. It is so perfect. How come nobody has ever come up with something this good?
And finally, I added these 3 black stitches on the end of the plush arms to kind of hint at the idea of those sharp blade fingers that are unique to the nightmares. And that's almost done. I have one more surprise with this guy to show ya.
Oh, the Freddles!
Yeah, he's got a little magnetic Freddle shoulder buddy. I thought it would be super cute to give him one as a little accessory, just like Chica and her cupcake. The simple Freddle is just a head with minimal detail on a tiny body and tiny arms, so when you stick him on the magnetic spot on his shoulder, it kind of looks like he's popping out of the tear in his body, like that one render. So yeah, there's Nightmare Freddy, and one of his sons.
In one of them.
I just got screamed at by Freddle. I'm so mad about this.
Oh, so you're doing an actual Freddle
Just
plush,
like the
okay.
cupcake, Freddle gets to have its own plushie as well, in addition to the
yeah, of
mini
course,
version of
yeah.
Nightmare Freddy. This one does not have a Funko variant, which is a huge loss on their end, as I'm sure a lot of people out there would love to purchase 3 of them to have on their bed. But whatever, sucks for you, Brian. This is what I came up with. These guys have tiny bodies, so I gave him a torso that's thinner than our default shape, with arm and leg nubs similar in size to our Indo plushes. This naturally makes his head look larger in comparison, giving him the teeny tiny proportioned look. His head and face shape all match closer to the in-game model, with this super wide rectangular jaw and snout. We have the flat circular eyes and seams around them that we do for all the characters with the pitch black eye holes and white pupils, of course. And we have the wither stitching again. The 3
Of course, as
amigos
you do.
actually have completely different withering patterns between them, so I just kind of picked one randomly to base it on, which ended.
Real? God. I mean, again, it's stuff like this, like, you give, like, these little incidental characters, like, such as, like, the Freddles, and you go through the effort of actually making all 3 of them distinct from one another. God, Scott really did go the extra mile on that one, didn't he?
Ended up being this one. As these aren't nearly as badly withered as the nightmares themselves, I reflected this with less stitches overall, making sure to keep the longer ones in the important spots. And yeah, that's a Freddle right there.
Very nice.
Now, time to get scared. I'm gonna get scared. I'm getting scared. I got scared. I'm
Flush, I'm getting scared.
scared. I'm scared.
I didn't realize that's
Since I
what that
did
was
Freddle,
called.
I figured I might as well go ahead and knock out Plushtrap here, as he's similarly a small little dude. Once again, he's not, excuse me, just a smaller version of Springtrap. God damn it, am I just completely unable to talk about anything Springtrap related? Is this a curse or something?
Once again, Plushtrap isn't just a smaller version of Springtrap. In fact, he's got a lot of differences to reflect in our plushie.
Yeah, the entire separate lower jaw, lots of little tiny teeth.
Which I, the real Oof Troop, will point out as we go. As you can see, he's got this small segmented snout and a super wide jaw, with a similar curved shape to Mangle's, with an open jaw that's especially important on Plushtrap, as he's insinuated to be a finger trap type toy in-game. His ears actually have 3 segments instead of the usual 2 for the bunny characters, so this was also done here.
Okay, wow, that's one of those things I've literally never noticed before. Wow.
And given that they're folded over in almost every render of him that exists, our plush is the same. Plushtrap was also given the same body and limb shape that our Freddy has, as they both have similar proportions and are supposed to, like, look small. And since his withering is minimal, we just have some tiny little stitches scattered all over, with some condensed on his snout and eye rings.
Okay.
And his colors are slightly brighter and more yellow than Springtrap's are, of course.
Yeah, I can see that.
There, done. Did it for you. Wow, maybe try harder next time, Ty. If you keep freezing up like that, people are gonna unsubscribe. Later, loser.
Okay, it seems like they may still be upset about the whole shape-shifting into and impersonating them thing. That didn't happen. This isn't real. We did a YouTube collaboration that they voiced in. We wrote a script where we pretend... Are you that stupid? Did we pull the wool over your eyes? Are you that stupid?
I am scared now.
Right on to the next bunny. But watch out. I heard that this time, it's
Purple.
a scary bunny. The shape differences between Bonnie and Freddy are a lot less subtle in FNAF 4 than FNAF 1, so the plushie should ideally be the same way. So let's see how Funko did the... It's just the FNAF 1 plush
Yeah,
with shit
yeah, of
slapped on it
course,
again.
of
God damn it.
course.
Weirdly, instead of putting the same type of withering patterns on his body, they instead just changed the shape of the lighter parts to look all bent and irregular, which, like, gets the point across, kinda, but still looks short.
Honestly, again, like, you can... Again, like, I've heard so much, so much bad about Funko. Like, I have to wonder, like, what unpaid intern did they have working on the designs of these?
The funniest part about this one to me, though, is how you can see the black splotches on his face and the withering effect on his ears and stomach, and you're like, okay, he's all torn up and stuff, and then you turn him around and see the back, and it's just one little mark on his head. So
in the back of
yeah,
his
we
head.
can do better, methinks. Nightmare Bonnie's head is taller and thinner than Freddy's, with his huge jaw taking up more of that space, so I made sure to mimic that here, basing it sorta on how we did our withered Freddy head shape. Nightmare Bonnie's model
Honestly, you look... Like, I swear, like, I love... Like, like, these little plushies of, like, these super scary and intimidating characters, and then they just have, like... They just have wall eyes that just kind of, like, look in completely different directions. It's, like, it's so doofy. It's so adorable.
also has the 3-segment ears like Plushtrap, so I did that again, this time with one straightened ear for variety's sake. His snout has some little freckles and whiskers coming out of them, which was fun to add to the plush. And as Nightmare Bonnie also has some huge chunks missing on him, on his head and his chest and stomach, I've sectioned off some dark fabric with stitches once more. A pretty notable aspect of his design in game is how much more of his endoskeleton is visible through that body hole. So to give a similar shape language to the plushie, I added an extra stitch going down the center of it. Alright, another complete.
I cannot escape Undertale and Deltarune, can I? Even when I'm watching FNAF content.
Okay, so the first night is never usually that bad in any of the
Hi,
games. So
Chica.
Oh, fuck! What the fuck?
Extremely delayed
So this is
reactions.
technically another original. There isn't any Funko Nightmare Chica plush to speak of. Kinda. There is a Jacko Chica plush, who is, of course, just a slightly edited Nightmare Chica model. So we may as well take a look at this one, huh? They gave her gums. Oh my god, they gave her gums. Nightmare Chica.
Why would you make... You wouldn't make one of the original, but you make a plush of the variant. Okay, that's just odd. Okay.
Chica is definitely my least favorite design of the 4. If I were to pinpoint the main reason why, it would probably be that she differs the most from her FNAF 1 design compared to the others. She just doesn't really feel that much like a Chica to me. I don't know, just adds to the nasty look in my opinion. Because of this, I predicted from the beginning that this one would be the most difficult, and I definitely ended up being right.
I mean, honestly, I can imagine the main thing is with the whole jaw angle, how Nightmare Chica is. I'm going to imagine a lot of it is going to be a lot more similar to that of Withered Chica rather than FNAF 1 Chica.
This one was tough. I tried my best though, and got something that I'm pretty happy with. Everything is pretty self-explanatory here.
Never
just
mind,
wanted to
okay.
mention that she has a different hairstyle from the other 3 chicas, just like the model. The bib is smaller and meant to look torn apart with the way it's shaped. These aren't actual tears or cuts in an otherwise solid piece of fabric, as that would cause thread unraveling. And Nightmare Chica's most iconic detail, the heterochromia thing she's got going on with the solid white right eye and the regular red left eye.
I mean, I always interpret that as literally just that one eye not working, given that they're so damaged and withered.
And that's actually not it either. Of course not. We gotta have the Nightmare Cupcake.
Oh, right,
this one
yeah,
is
of
pretty much
course.
the same as FNAF 1 Chica's, just with darker colors, our Nightmare pupil type, and the black eye rings. I also used another fake black stitch running along the base horizontally
For the
to
mouth,
act as a fun
yeah.
little simplified mouth, instead of actually putting teeth and everything here. So yeah, there she is. I think I did a decent job, but out of the main 4 in this video, this is probably my least favorite plush result. I'm obviously pretty biased though. I'm sure the Nightmare Chica heads watching will be able to tell me how I did.
Okay, now we're getting to the actual
cupcakes are always the
cupcake.
most boring parts of these videos, so I'll try something a little different this time around to bump up that entertainment value for you all.
What do you mean?
Funko's Nightmare Cupcake plush. Out of all the nightmares, this is the best looking and most accurate, I feel, but once again, ain't saying much. For mine, as always, I wanted to move away from the flat printed mouth thing, but I didn't really want to use the usual plastic supported open mouth this time. This plush is essentially just a head, and making that work structurally in this case would be a bit difficult.
Oh, so like the cupcake, you have it so like, oh, it's like the entire top hinges from the bottom, but you just have it by like the black band around the back. Okay,
So,
okay,
I decided
I
to
get
cheat
it.
for once and have the top and bottom jaws be completely separate pieces, but with a black cylindrical plush center running through it, so it's just a gap going around the base part with black showing and the teeth filling that space in the front. If that doesn't make sense, you probably get the picture by just...
Okay, so honestly, like, I know I've watched enough, YouTube shorts and stuff like that, with the whole Subway Surfer over with the Reddit, and, AI voice and all that garbage. What is going on with... Why is this guy cutting up a piece of soap? Why? Like, again, like, the ones that show gameplay, I can get behind and understand. What's with all, these videos where it's just, destroying cleaning implements?
Just looking at it. Everything else is essentially the same as our OG cupcake, just with our usual nightmare details added and all the colors changed accordingly. Done and done. There we go. And that's how I fixed. Okay, that brings us to our last plushie for today, and I just gotta warn everyone beforehand so you're not all disappointed.
This is gonna be
It's
Foxy.
not bedside pill bottle. I know. I'm sorry, folks.
If these don't look good to you, I got nothing to say to you.
They look pretty good. They look kind of burnt. Did you drop them in dirt
Is
or
it
something?
burnt? Did I drop it in dirt? No. Grow up.
I'm not at all surprised that Nightmare Foxy was one of the esteemed FNAF 4 few to receive a Funko plush. He's like the fan favorite of the game, I think, but what's also not surprising is that he looks like this. Once again, I don't feel like I really need to explain why this looks gross in detail.
Oh, God, again, I look at this and I just... All of these, the actual, plushes that were actually made, I look at them and I just feel sad. There was, no effort put into this. They just took the FNAF one, put, the duct tape mouth on it as Biz, so eloquently put it, and just put these little... Oh, God, it is, again, so sad. Ah. I feel sorry for anybody that actually wasted money on these things.
You have eyes. I will actually give props to them for including the exposed endoskeleton part of his snout. It just kind of feels like a detail Funko would forget, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
And here's my finished design. Ooh. This one is a bit more complex, particularly in the this area, but I think it would be fairly doable on a plush. Take that with a grain of salt as always, though. As you can see, he's got 2 layers of snout here. There's the smaller black part with some gray fabric and stitching to act as the exposed metal framing, and a chunk of outer fabric to act as this torn up light red part.
Honestly, I still remember, the first teaser we ever saw of, Nightmare Foxy, and he had that weird spiky snake tongue that never ever appeared again or ever did anything again.
The lower jaw and general shape of the mouth is once again very similar to what we did with Toy Foxy and Mangles, just larger and wider. The nose is actually a little roundish cube this time, like the model has. The shorts are the same ones we gave Withered Foxy, but darker, as the amount of withering is pretty close to being the same, and I didn't want any more detail in that general area anyway.
Yeah.
The legs actually have the little finger-esque stitch lines as well, because Nightmare Foxy's legs are just the endoskeleton, with those spiky dogs fully on display. We have all our wither stitching as well, with some more sectioned off color areas, and the eyes. As you can see, he actually has 2 rings encasing his eyeballs, which we haven't done before. The model in-game has the lighter salmony red of his snout and cheeks going around the dark eye socket, so I really didn't have any other option if I wanted to keep both of those details. Also, here's something I would have never noticed if I wasn't closely inspecting these models for this video. For some reason, Nightmare Foxy's pupils are different than the other 3. I mean, obviously Chica has the one white eye, but aside from that, they all have the same colored pupils with the glowing white centers, except for Foxy, who has little dark centers. So I did the same for our Foxy here and gave him the regular black pupils. And that's pretty...
Again, it's one of those things, like, whenever you have those little design, like, details here that are different than the norm when you have, like, the set of characters, you really have to wonder, like, what was going on through Scott's head when he was doing that? Like, what was the purpose? Was it just to make Foxy stand out more because Foxy has and always will be the most popular character that's ever been in Fnaf?
Pretty much it. Not. There you go, bitches. His weird, freaky tongue from that teaser that isn't actually in the game anywhere.
I was literally talking about that a minute ago. Okay, wow.
Of course I had to include it as a magnetic accessory. This would just be the regular plush material with some bendable plastic on the inside, so you can shape it around a little and then stick it to a magnet in his mouth. I would leave it off personally. I don't want a plush Gira hemming me from my shelf, but to each their own. And there you go. That's all the plush shitsters I got to show you for this episode, though.
Okay.
Making the nightmares was a pretty huge undertaking, but I feel like I managed to pull through pretty well. If you have any opinions as to how well you think I did, definitely let me know down below, though. Especially the Nightmare Chica stands watching. Come on, speak to the class. That's half of Fnaf 4 knocked out, so next time we'll take on the Halloween update critters. And these 2 guys as well. I don't know, they're probably important or something, right? It'll probably be a while before then, though, so if you're one of the Fnaf-only viewers in the audience, which is okay, by the way, everyone's got their content preferences, I do urge you to maybe give some of my other stuff a shot, just to see if you like it. If you like these art accompanied types of videos I do, and also happen to be a fan of Smash Brothers, you might get a kick out of my other series where I fix boring fighter alts. Or hey, if you love learning about little secrets and obscurities found in games and also like video game music, you'd probably like my music secrets and trivia videos. Hell, I even have YouTube poops on my channel if you're a fan of those. If not though, I understand. You can find something else out there to do to pass the time while you wait. You can poke at the ground with like a stick. Find some cool worms or something. I don't know. Take some estrogen.
Sorry, I don't have body dysmorphia.
And as always, I'd like to thank my Skrinklies over on Patreon. Thank you for supporting me.
Please don't go back again. Hope you're fantastic today, and welcome to Buckley's Bunker.
Okay, so that was part 1 of the Fnaf 4 plushies. Let's move on to part 2 then, shall we? And looking at the thumbnail here, yeah, I'm gonna guess this is a bad one. Okay, so let's see what kind of horrors come about here.
Hey, it's me again, Bizabizow. And in case you haven't seen...
It's Bizabizow, I know. I had somebody actually spell out the pronunciation for me, thank you.
It already, I'm just going to mention real quick that I have a merch store. You can get some Bizabizow shirts on there with me on them. This video background themed trans flag shirt, this Find Squirt Buckley shirt, and most relevant to this video, you ever wonder what an animatronic themed around my channel aesthetics would look like if a certain company turned it into a charmingly bad plushie? Well, here's an artist rendition of what it may look like, but on a shirt.
Again, it looks like the cartoon when you grab a cartoon character and squeeze their body so their eyes would bulge out of their heads.
I know that's a lot of mental gymnastics there.
Plushie lover
it's a funny
shirt.
plushie. It's a shirt with a funny plushie. There's also some fun little stickers and even a couple of mouse pads for you. You can get all this at and only at crowdme.com/collection/Bizabizow. Link in the description. It's a great way to support me and the channel, but you also get some cool things in the mail for it. So it's a win-win. Go check it out. Okay, actual video time. Oh my god, guys, we're in deep trouble. We gotta make more FNAF plushies quick, or else this timer is gonna go off, and it'll explode, and the world will. If we. Guys, I'm sorry. I wanted to do something cool for you this episode. I know how much you guys like cool action stuff and all that, so I thought I could put something cool in here, but I couldn't pull through. I'm sorry. I couldn't deliver on the cool stuff, guys. Okay, since this is a part 2 to our last Fixing FNAF plushies, we'll be covering the other half of FNAF 4's animatronic roster that we didn't get to in that video. And I don't know why I always repeat this, as being completely content with just jumping directly into the middle of an ongoing series is not something most people are willing to do, but go watch the last part and all the others if you haven't seen them. Okay, thanks. In this episode, we'll be covering all of the animatronics and animatronic variants that were added to FNAF 4 in its Halloween update, and also Nightmare Fredbear and Nightmare, who were in the base game and aren't a part of the Halloween gang, but I wanted to save for the very end. I wanted them to be a little special.
Okay. Actually, wait, yeah, Nightmare is transparent. How's that going to work out with the plush? Is she just going to make him black?
And what do you know? I'm predictable. Just a few quick things before we start. Firstly, I wanted to show some more of your guys' fan work, specifically based on my designs from the last episode, because you guys started whipping up some amazing stuff almost immediately. I love it all. Y'all are the best. Look at this. They made Freddy, and it actually has the little... You can actually... Oh my god.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Hello again.
Oh,
it's
no,
me,
not you.
Fluttertie. Sorry it's been so long. I was down in the mines. Ty forgot to mention that she incorrectly credited some art last time. This should actually be credited to @Malfim on Twitter. Ty says she's very sorry. Oh, also, sorry my voice sounds different. Like I said, I've been down in the mines mining my fucking ores.
Secondly, just one more self-plug. I'm sorry. I started streaming recently. Woohoo! I started playing some Metroid Prime Remastered with my good friend Oof Troop, and it's been a lot of fun.
I loved when Freddy got real scared and said, "Gregory, our security was breached."
Gregory, we're ruined. Oh my god, we're ruined!
The plan is to keep streaming from here on out, so keep a lookout if you want to catch one live. If not, though, the VODs are all saved. Alright, that's all I needed to flap my mouth about this time.
Okay, let's get into it!
Some plushies.
The jack-o'-lantern. The chocolate ice.
Okay.
Jacko Bonnie and Jacko Chica are the only two characters in this episode that have Funko plushies, so we may as well start with them.
Here we go.
These two, as we know, are simple recolors of the Nightmare Bonnie and Chica models. They were just jack-o'-lanterned for the Halloween update with only minor structural changes. So, given...
Wait, don't tell me. Are you also going to make a plush of the pumpkin? Are you also... Wait, let me check. Are you making a plush of the pumpkin? Or Jacko Bonnie, Jacko Chica... Jacko Cupcake, yes, of course.
Not fact. I was extremely shocked to find out that for Jacko Bonnie, Funko didn't do their favorite thing in the entire world, just reusing a pre-existing plush base, even though that would have actually made complete sense in this case. Instead, they made a new base plush design for this guy with this thinner head, huge bean-shaped snout, and this jaw ring thing. And, you know, this actually looks more like the model than the regular Nightmare Bonnie plush does.
Yeah?
It's still not that accurate, and it certainly doesn't look good, but it is an improvement.
God, I mean, and at the end of the day, you could have just taken this one and recolored it to make the regular... God, again, who was that? Honestly, I'm honestly, after watching all these videos, I have to ask, how are, Funko actually doing, company-wise? Are they failing? What's happening here? 5 years. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, it is down. Okay. Wow. Man. Okay, I can kind of understand it may have gone up because, the whole, gamer thing. But then, it gets, that's one massive drop. and it's kind of like puttering around for a while, and then another massive drop. What happened? Actually, wait a second. I'm very far. Was that when was the pandemic? I'm forgetting.
I gotta commend them for that, at the very least. Since we're going to be making a recolor of my Nightmare Bonnie design from the last episode anyway, it's not necessary to pick this design apart and talk about what we're changing and all that. I'm just showing it to you so you know it exists, and we'll know how much better ours will be.
Oh, no, I can already
Hopefully.
tell it will be a million times
here's
better.
Ours. The only thing I really had to worry about was the colors, which I made sure were more accurate than Funko's. Here we have darker pumpkin-y colors instead of super bright saturated ones. The most important part was making all of the body holes, especially his eyes, all bright yellow to give him the appearance of being lit up from the inside. You know.
Like a pumpkin.
There are a few small structural differences.
God, Shaq, I love you. Never die.
Says from Nightmare to Jacko, though. The most obvious are his missing eyeballs, but there's actually another one that you may or may not have noticed already. If it weren't for the fact that I had to study these designs intently for this series, much like Nightmare Foxy's different pupils that I mentioned last time, I literally would have never noticed that Jacko Bonnie's nose is missing. Yeah, it's just not there. This is probably to make him look more like a jack-o'-lantern, with the nose hole and all, but the only time you ever see the light shining through it is in this teaser for the Halloween update, not in any of the actual renders in-game. So, really weird detail. I mean, it kinda shows through from some angles in Help Wanted, but, you know, source material, priority, and all that. For accuracy's sake, I also removed his nose, but instead of making the quote-unquote hole yellow, like the light is shining through, I just made it black. This is how he's seen in the game anyway, like I said. Also, I made Jacko Bonnie's bright red tie more of a rust color here to fit in with the color palette as a whole a bit better.
Honestly, again, like, these are so good. Like, I want these to actually be made as actual merch. Bizzo deserves it. With all the hard work she's put into these things. She deserves more money from these than just video, like, monetization.
It's just easier on the eyes. And that's pretty much it. On to the next one.
Also, I just purple confetti. Yeah, okay.
Now hold on, everybody. Let's not jump to any conclusions.
Jacko Chica has just a...
Okay, again, I know, Bizabizow has a history of YouTube poops, but how many times are you going to get use out of that joke?
A little more going on. As you can see, pumpkin colors once more, no eyes, lit up body holes, all that good stuff. But this time, we have a new little magnetic buddy to make. Jacko Chica's Nightmare Cupcake was replaced with this little jack-o'-lantern here, going along with the theme in a really cute way.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if calling this thing the Jacko Cupcake would be accurate, as it's a pumpkin, but you could maybe make the argument that this thing would be classified as a variant of the character, the cupcake, alongside the others. The wiki doesn't do this though, so maybe don't listen to me. Oh, right, and here's Funko's design. It's kind of a Toy Chica recolor, but does have some additions.
Toy Chica. Oh yeah, the gums, yeah, but Toy Chica. God, that's just weird.
That I briefly mentioned last time. Yeah, it's bad. You can just go ahead and toss that one, though. Don't worry about it. I got you a new one, pal. Here you go. Everything's pretty standard here. I grabbed the same Jacko colors, slapped them on Nightmare Chica, and took out the eyes. But, of course, now I have the Nightmare Cupcake replacement. As you can see, it's a little more...
Shouldn't that go in the other hand, though?
On the green side, which may seem incorrect to you, given that Help Wanted Special Delivery and most of her merch have standard orange ones. But no, in Fnaf 4, it's decidedly not orange, but instead a yellowy green, which is a color that a pumpkin can be in real life, in case you were wondering. If you're a real Fnaf head, though, you'd know that Fnaf 4 and all Jacko Chica appearances from here on out actually aren't the only instances of this jack-o'-lantern model showing up. Not a lot of people know that coinciding with Fnaf 4's Halloween update, there were also ones released for 1, 2, and 3's PC and original mobile ports. All they did was add little Halloween decorations to your office if your clock was set to October 31st, but look, it's not FNAF 2 though. I don't know what was going on there.
God, that is different. I honestly can't, I didn't remember this. Like, I'm having vague recollections of the pumpkins on the desks, but I honestly completely forgot about these.
Anyway, that's it for Jacko Chica.
Jack-o'-lantern.
Now that those two are out of the way, it starts to get a little more interesting.
Jack-o'-lantern.
Alright, time to... wait. I have to make a standalone Jacko cupcake, don't I?
Yes, you do. You set up the precedent. You've done it for literally every other game and literally every other version of Chica. You have to do it here. It's literally your fault.
God, this is the most boring one so far.
Just make
No
it
one
a
has ever
circle.
asked for this to be a plushie. Okay, I gotta pull out the big guns this time. Okay, so basically,
Come on!
of the small one, and it has stitches, like, it has stitches and there.
God, that was honestly hurting my ears a little bit. Ow. Hi, Nightmare Balloon Boy. How are you? Yep. He's walked away.
There just isn't room in here.
Oh, good old sentence mixing. I love it.
Although I'm not huge on the design, I can at least say that Nightmare BB will make for a somewhat easier time in the plushie conversion process, compared to the other Nightmares at least. Look, there isn't a single scratch on this guy. We haven't seen that for a while. He's also essentially just a wider-headed version of his regular counterpart with a big old jaw and teeth, so...
And fingers. Don't forget, he has fingers.
Even simpler. And here he is.
Of course you added the fingers. No. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but still...
That's not right. Hold on. Sorry, I think I mixed up my files here. There we go.
Wait, that was
Sorry.
Nightmare JJ.
Awkward. The first thing you'll probably notice is his big ol' silly stupid grin, which was, of course, crucial to get right. How else is he gonna say...
Hello?
And hey, look, the return of the finger nubs. Since his long, crooked fingies are a big focal point for his design, and because they're the same size as the puppets, this is definitely an appropriate use for them. And before anyone says he has an incorrect digit count, it was on purpose this time. I stylized it to be 4 instead of 5 in cartoon fashion.
5 fingers? Ooh, freak show.
Shut the fuck up, Bob!
So it would look strange to have an anatomically accurate number of fingers on a plush like this. So... back off. Compared to OG Balloon Boy, the colors are a little different, with purple stripes instead of blue, red eyes and nose instead of blue and orange respectively, and black buttons instead of white. Oh, and the blue propeller. I can't forget that. How would I be able to live with myself? And bada bing, bada loon, Nightmare Balloon Boy. That didn't make sense, did it? Fuck.
Honestly, the one thing, if I was designing this, the one thing I would have potentially done was, since you're always doing like the magnet gimmicks here, and the whole thing with Nightmare Balloon Boy is the fact that the top of his head isn't actually connected to the rest of his body, just kind of floats there. Like, you could have it where, like, the top of the head is connected to the rest of the body by a magnet, so you can pull it apart so you can have the top of the head floating. Like, that would be a really nice, weird little special edition or whatever.
Don't fucking look at me like that. That's a weird-looking fucking cat. Ma!
There's a cat outside!
There's a stray cat outside! I don't want it starting a fight with Lucy.
Okay, I said before that Nightmare Chica was my least favorite Nightmare design, but I changed my mind. I think it's actually this one. I appreciate the Mangle representation, but Nightmare Mangle is just so gross looking, and not in a good way. This looks more like a Nightmare fan design than an official one to me, honestly. Nightmare Foxy looked fine enough, I guess, but taking his head and putting these super bright Mangle colors on it just doesn't work, in my opinion. Also, this goofy, evil robot head, this is a Spirit Halloween deck.
Honestly, it's what I said before, like, about the Nightmare Baby design.
But I gotta try my best to make this into a decent plushie, so let's go. I think the best way to go about this is the simplest one, starting with our regular Mangle's body with Nightmare Foxy's head and going from there. So, this is my result. It's pretty messy looking, but it's honestly the best I can manage with this design. All things considered, I think I did a good job, but depends on how much you like the character, I guess. As you can see, I changed the bare metal part of the original Mangle to closer resemble this one, more in vibe than anything else, with a darker color as well, matching the one in game.
Also, no tail, extra box at the back. Yeah, again, weird.
The endo head is now rounded with a different face, roughly capturing the real thing's look. The legs now match Nightmare Mangle's better, with only one colored limb this time around, and 2 bare endo legs instead of just one. The head is Nightmare Foxy's, but sized down and with a slightly altered jaw, done to reduce the hypothetical head weight a little bit. But aside from that, it's pretty self-explanatory. An eye was removed, red cheeks and lips were added, and all the colors were changed to follow suit. And that's it, Nightmare Mangle. You may not want to hold that thing too close, though, and make sure you have your rabies shots.
Oh, but come on, you don't have to be so mean. Nightmare Mangle's plush is still adorable.
It's Slenderman!
I gotta stop myself from complaining about these designs. Let's just make the plushie, alright? This one we get to have a little more fun with, as this thing's got some extreme proportions. Namely, these incredibly long tentacle fingers, way longer than the original puppets. Given our past method, these will be similar to the little nub fingers we've included before, but
are they going to be a lot longer? Because that's kind of the thing.
But a bit longer. Not nearly as long as the actual model, of course. We gotta stylize that shit. Everything else, for the most part, will be built off our original puppet, but altered to fit Nightmarion's appearance. Here's what I came up with. As you can see, the face has all the expected features, including the teeth, which are just flat stitching this time for the flat mouth, and the slight head shape change. The body is the puppet's with a wider chest, similar to what Nightmarion has, with some little rib plush parts added for the skeletal look. These are attached to this vaguely spine-esque plush part on their back here. Fnaf 4 doesn't have any renders showing this model's backside, so this is based on Help Wanted's model. The legs were made to have a rhombus-y shape this time. The model's legs get wide in the middle and slender at either end. And of course the fingers. As discussed, these are longer than the puppets, but only moderately, as the tiny proportioned look has to be maintained for these plushies.
Honestly, again, it's a wonderful looking plush. And now thinking about it, I'm actually generally upset that there's never been an actual Nightmare marionette, plush.
These are indeed 3 fingers as well, just like the puppets, but are placed to look less like human hands. Also, you may have noticed the licorice-looking stitch lines on their arms and legs, and that's to give them the look of the model's twisted tentacle limbs.
Yeah.
Also, side tangent, does anyone under 40 out there like black licorice? I'm genuinely curious.
Honestly, for me, I barely like regular licorice. I'll have it if it's offered, but it's not one of those things that I actively go out of my way. It's one of those things that if we go to the movie theater with my family, my mom will buy a bag of licorice and we'll share it, but it's not one of those things that I'll look for and ask to get.
I don't think I've met a single younger person that has, and for good reason, because that shit's nasty. Drop a comment below if you like black licorice. Tell me to die. And Nightmarion is completed. Now it's finally time for the big boys. The real big boys. Let's go.
Yeah, Fredbear! No! Why? Why? Also, where do you even find that tweet? I feel like I've seen it at some point, but I've never, I don't know if I'd ever would have thought to actually look for it and seek it out.
Now, I get why one would shy away from a design like this. The jump from this to this is quite extreme with the utter amount of detail added, so yeah, I could see Funko avoiding him in favor of other more plushy-suitable designs. But that's if they cared at all.
Yeah.
You know how Funko is. Look at how many reuses of the Freddy base they've done before. That's one more to throw on the pile. What was stopping them from making this yellow and purple and calling it a day? Hell, they made this fucking thing into a plush, and who gives a shit about the twisteds? All this to say, it's quite strange why a Funko Nightmare Fredbear plush doesn't exist, even though it would most certainly be atrocious. But who needs Funko, right? Let's do what they couldn't do. Because, we're making shit up and not actually making these physically. Once again, I'll just show the
other
design
people are doing
and we'll
that.
go into detail as we go. And here he is. Wait, oh my god, I mixed it up again. There, okay. I'm sorry, I'm a darn mess today. The first thing worth mentioning is that this is the second time we've used the rounder body. The first was for Toy Freddy, who is also a notably rotund fella.
But that does, yeah, that definitely does make a lot more sense on Nightmare Fredbear, just for how huge he is. And God, you know, thinking back, like, I still remember when, you know, they were showing off the teasers on Scott's website for FNAF 4, and I remember theorizing that it was actually Bonnie that had, you know, the stomach mouth. Because of course, you know, it didn't matter. It's like, oh, this would have been showing off, you know, multiple times. But like I thought, it's like, oh, you look, in like every one of the like the nightmares have multiple rows of teeth. At the very least, where Nightmare Freddy has, you know, the one set, but also has all the little mini Freddys. Nightmare Chica and Nightmare Foxy both have, like, multiple rows of teeth and stuff going on. But Nightmare Bonnie only had one row of teeth, so I thought, oh, have the other row on the belly or something like that. That makes perfect sense to me.
Although Nightmare Fredbear is even more so. The trickiest part of this design to get right was the head shape. Nightmare Fredbear has a very large head compared to all the other nightmares, which, aside from being yellow, is definitely his most defining feature. He's got that triple-decker, ultra-deluxe fucking burger with extra cheese, sauce.
Honestly, yeah, he has the perfect mouth for those, fancy quote-unquote hamburgers, where instead of like making the burger bigger by like increasing the surface area, they just add more stuff on top of it to make it taller, so you have to unhinge your jaw to actually bite down on the thing.
Extra patty. A lot of his head real estate is dedicated to his massive mouth, so I made sure to keep that shit tall and wide. His head shape is actually pretty similar to Nightmare Bonnie's, just way wider and with a smaller snout. Since Fredbear loves slurping on tar, I can't blame the guy, his model has these giant black gums connecting the teeth to the mouth, so I made the surrounding area of his mouth all black to give that look without actually giving him gums. You know, my stance on that sort of thing. Something I've never understood about his design, but enjoyed anyway because of its uniqueness, are the weird little wing wire things he's got in his eyes. I don't know what they're supposed to be, aside from just an interesting little place to put some wires, but...
Though, I mean, what are you talking about? They're eyelashes! I mean, Fredbear may be male, but guys, if you actually look it up, guys oftentimes do have much bigger eyelashes than women. That's part of the reason mascara is a thing. To make, you know, to make their eyelashes look bigger. We of the male persuasion do not require such enhancements.
But hey, I like it, and it's on the plush too. You might be wondering about the whole stomach mouth thing, and, well, unfortunately, there was no way I could find to include teeth along his stomach line without cluttering the design up too much. So instead of doing that, I opted to make the vertical intersecting stitches longer, making his belly stitch way more prominent than the others, with a look closer to a mouth. Oh, and also the little finger stitches are silver and a slight bit longer than normal to match his slightly longer silver fingers that the other nightmares
And Nightmare's just gonna be a recolor,
isn't he?
That's
pretty much all there is to say about this guy. But we do have one more to tack on as well. And he's Grody.
Grody?
Did you not see the spaghetti? I did. And I know who you are. You're Nightmare...
No. Oh god, this is one of her actual YouTube poops. Oh no!
What the fuck?
Nightmare is...
Oh god, those old school YouTube poops. Oh god, they're beautiful. Oh, the cringe is beautiful.
Is another color swapped model, so we'll give him the usual. Here's my design. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Sorry about that. It's always fucking something. So, with Nightmare's design, I unfortunately had to just completely ignore the fact that he's translucent. Obviously, see-through plushies don't exist, although if this was a figure, he'd totally have that early 2000s electronic translucent thing going on.
Oh god, that'd be beautiful. No, what you do is instead of being a plushie, he's actually a balloon, so he's inflatable, and that way you can have like the clear plastic being see-through. He'd also be so soft and squishy, so man, it's a win-win.
This, too, means his visible brain won't be accounted for, unfortunately. Though maybe there could be a little secret plush one hidden on the inside of his head if you cut him open, like Toby Fox's plushies. Don't cut your plushies open, though, please.
Wait, the Undertale plushies have a little fake soul in them? Okay, that's weird.
It's just an opaque recolor here, which is totally fine in my book. I only ever think of Nightmare as a dark-colored Fredbear with a yellow hat and tie anyway.
Yeah.
And wow, that's our 2 final FNAF 4 plushies completed.
Is there going to be one more? What's going on
Would
here?
you look at that? We're finally done. This was definitely the most challenging bunch of characters to design for so far, by a long shot. But the challenge made these 2 vids a lot of fun to work on, especially with how much I ended up liking some of my designs in particular. It is a huge relief, though, knowing that we won't have to deal with this kind of withered, toothy animatronic design trend ever again. At least not nearly as visually dense as the Nightmares. Thank God. I don't know if my wee girl Hulk could handle it. So, with FNAF 4 done, our plushie count has risen to 51 characters.
Well, that's almost us Ultimate Custom Night. How is Ultimate Custom Night going to be? Actually, wait a second. Let me look at the playlist. Like, which games are actually in this thing? Okay, so we got the FNAF 4. Next is the movie. Really? The movie is next? Okay. I would have thought it'd been the sister location ones. And then it's the Pizzeria Simulator. Yeah, so... Wait, that was only made 3 weeks ago? Really? Wow, okay. I'm catching up to these quicker than I thought. Maybe I should start splitting these up into more videos. Never mind.
25 of those being ones with existing Funko plushies, and 26 without. Imagine how many moths you could feed with all that cloth and material. Moths eat clothes and cloth and stuff.
Certain types
when we
of
get
mobs.
back to making FNAF plushies again, we'll be on sister location, which means we get to go back to making some gay-looking animatronics into plushies. That'll be a lot of fun. I can't wait. Anyway, I don't really have any wacky bit to end this video on, so, hey, you know what you should go watch? I Think You Should Leave on Netflix. That's required viewing material for this channel, alright? They added a new feature to YouTube just for me, that it checks for I Think You Should Leave in your browser history. And if it's not there, it blocks all my videos for you, forever, until you watch it. You can't see them. This is real. Guys, there's a timer counting down. The world will end if you don't...
Oh god, not this again. Okay. Okay. God, honestly, another couple of wonderful videos from Bizabizow. Oh god, again, I'm so happy to again, I'm having a complete brain fart of who initially suggested these videos, but again, you know who you are, and I thank you for doing it, because honestly, again, every single one of these has been just such a treat, because, like, I'll be completely honest here, like, I watch so many, like, video game theories and stuff like that. It's honestly nice just watching a video that is just purely about the creative process and just coming up with things, not having to try to figure out lore or looking at, like, game codes or, like, website stuff. It's nice to do just something basic and just enjoy something that's supposed to look cute and looking at the failings of big business at the same time. So yeah, that's definitely going to be it for now. But honestly, I'm a bit confused as to what to do next. The playlist says that it's the FNAF movie plushies that are next. But I would have thought it would be the sister location ones. So I'm gonna look at the dates. If there's something weird going on about the actual ordering, make sure to actually tell me. I'd definitely love to know, because at this moment, the next ones I will be watching are the FNAF movie ones. But yeah, that's definitely going to be it for now. So yeah, I hope you guys liked. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.